Smriti Irani ji launched your book, A New
Yes.
India.
Yes.
What was that experience like?
Life has humbled me enough and taught me enough that how fast you go up, you can fall down even faster.
What is the future of AI?
It violates my privacy. A lot of big companies, big corporate giants like Facebook or an Amazon, they have access to a lot more
Really?
data. A concept that they've proposed is called anonymization of data.
You're also a published author. What inspired you?
So my inspiration is my environment. I can make anything rhyme, but life humbled me.
It's so amazing. Like, life is such a full circle.
Yes.
Like, I'm meeting you after 7th grade.
Yeah.
I have to just start with this anecdote. So Naina was made to sit. She was a new kid in the school, and she was made to sit next to me. Apparently, I was a smart kid.
You were. You still are.
Thanks to social media, we reconnected sometime
Yes.
back. Very, very excited for this conversation.
Thank you so much, Tuti, for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So let's begin. You practiced litigation for close to 5 years before you moved on.
Yes.
So let's start there. What and who inspired you to become a lawyer?
So it was actually my father and my brother who played a very important role in me studying law and really taking up the legal profession.
Nice.
My father was a practicing lawyer in the
Okay.
Punjab and Haryana High Court
Oh,
before he
nice.
joined the services.
Okay.
And my brother is an advocate on record in the Supreme Court of India.
Okay.
And so both of them were the inspiration behind, over the years, I would have conversations with my father about a criminal law and, the criminal justice system and I would have conversations with my brother, and that is what
dinner table conversations, I'm
yes,
guessing.
yes. So that is what inspired me to give the CLAT exam and join NUJS and study law. And then eventually I decided to follow my brother's steps because litigation is what actually really interested me. And
Nice.
I like the whole feel of, wearing the gown and the band and, being in court.
Yeah.
So, and like arguing, drafting petitions, that's what really interested me, even throughout my internships at law school. So I decided to take up litigation, and I had a great time for 5 years before I decided to switch to Invest India.
Naina, you mentioned your dad was a bureaucrat. He was in the services. So,
Yes.
of course, you've had a very interesting childhood where you moved around the country. And also, you saw your father in service of the nation.
Yes.
So, I'm going to touch a little bit upon that. Like, what was your childhood like, and how did that inspire your subsequent choices as an adult?
Because I moved around a lot, so I lived in 3 different cities in Chandigarh, Calcutta, and Delhi.
Nice.
And because I moved around a lot, I've shifted I don't know how many houses in my life.
Yeah.
But that is what taught me change. That is what taught me that change is the only constant.
True.
And it taught me how to adapt to situations. It taught me how to adjust. And in life, you have to adjust. You have to adapt. You have to be like water, like all the time flowing. You have to adapt to your environment around you.
Yeah.
And so it taught me a lot. And I also learned how to make friends very quickly and very easily because I kept shifting schools.
Yeah.
And it also taught me how to stay in touch with people, because I've stayed in touch with all my friends over the years, right from
For
KG.
example,
yes, life and its ways.
Yeah.
So it was great, and it also taught me how to look at life very positively.
Amazing.
And how to always look forward to better things in life.
Lovely. And if you can touch a little bit upon your dad as a bureaucrat in service of the nation, like what impact that left on you as well?
It left a very patriotic impact.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, that is what inspired me to, because my father is with the government and my grandfather was also in the Indian Army.
Okay.
So there
Yeah.
was always something inside of me that wanted to be able to contribute in any little way to my country.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is what actually made me interview with and join Invest India after 5 years of litigation.
Yeah, so I was just coming to that, and the reason
Yeah.
I asked you about seeing your father in the services while growing up is because you've done phenomenal work with Invest India, and in specific with their R&D wing of Make in India, which is accelerating growth for New India's innovation. Wow. Very loaded words over there with a lot of significance. So tell us a little bit about that. First of all, what made you take this big leap from practicing litigation in the court to now working for Make in India?
I always believe in life, you are where you are meant to be. Like I said, there was always something inside of me that wanted to be able to contribute to my country.
Yeah.
And that is what inspired me to interview with and join Invest India. And like you rightly mentioned, I joined the tech and innovation wing of the Make in India campaign called Accelerating Growth of New India's Innovation. It's the national technology commercialization program, a flagship initiative of the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor. And
wow. So what did that entail?
So yeah,
in terms of the kind of work
yes,
you did?
So it was, very focused on Indian technology, promoting Indian technology and promoting Indian innovation.
Okay.
And and also figuring out how Indian technology can be used to solve problems and pain points associated with various adopters, be it states in India, be it big companies, be it not-for-profit organizations. So, and I was looking after the legal, regulatory, policy, strategy, and advisory side of affairs.
Okay.
So I got the opportunity to, work on a lot of to really assist in policy making, whether it was on very current topics, like artificial intelligence, climate change. Topics which are really
relevant.
which are really being focused on today.
Amazing.
And so I got that opportunity. I was also simultaneously looking after the FMCG sector for some time. So
okay, interesting.
Yes.
Balance of tech and FMCG.
Yes. So I got to interact with and work with some of the most brilliant minds in the startup ecosystem.
Wow.
So that was a great eye opener and a great experience as well.
Yeah.
A great learning experience.
When you look back at your career, because we're at Because She Can.
Yes.
I want to ask you, I mean, this is some phenomenal work you've done. When you look back, were there some instances like first of all, tell us a little bit about your career highlights, which was some of the projects where you were like, wow, like, did I really do this? And then on the flip side of it, things where you were like, oh my God, I don't think I can do this. But there were some sort of challenges that you actually overcame, and talk to us a little bit about that.
Challenges come every day. Challenge is another name for growth.
Yeah.
If we don't have challenges, if we don't have impediments, if we don't have roadblocks, how do we grow?
True.
How do we evolve?
Yeah.
So challenges come as a form of growth, as a way of teaching us how to evolve and how to bloom. And there are a ton of challenges every day. So I would say
me, for everybody,
for everybody. Yeah. So there've been a ton of challenges in my journey. Even switching was difficult.
Yeah,
but I was I was really into litigation.
Yeah.
And like hardcore litigation, going to court every day, and then switching. And just when I had started to find my feet a little bit in litigation, because I believe in litigation you're always and always. So just when I had started to find my feet, that's when I decided to make the switch and try something new. But then again, in life, you have to keep upgrading. You have to keep learning new skills, skill sets, because every situation demands a new you. So you
Very
have
well
to
said.
keep upgrading.
Yeah.
That's the only way you evolve.
Yeah,
And everything is challenging. Every
that's
step is
true.
challenging. But what's the fun if there's no
Yeah.
challenge?
I mean, I think you have to put yourself in positions of discomfort to actually grow.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you did. So kudos to you. So, AI, the buzzword
Yes.
these days. And I want to ask you a little bit about that because you said you did a lot of work with policy frameworks around AI. You know, Gen Zs love AI.
Yeah.
The older generation is very scared of
Scared.
AI.
Yeah.
We as millennials are somewhere in between.
Yeah.
But the reality is that there is this entire fear mongering about deep fakes, etc.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, because you've worked within the realm of AI, what is your take on that? You know, especially with fake data that can be produced, and then what is the future of AI?
So, you just mentioned deep fake.
Yeah.
Now, what is the issue with deep fake?
Yeah.
It violates my privacy.
Exactly.
It breaches my personal data.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, we don't have a law yet for data and privacy in India,
Yeah.
but a law is in the making. And the government, in the meanwhile, has also acknowledged and addressed this issue. And if you look at, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, the METI, they've come out with a lot of papers and recommendations to address this.
Yeah.
So one recommendation that they've proposed, a concept that they've proposed, is called anonymization of data.
Okay.
Now, what do you mean by anonymization? Anonymization means taking out the personal data out of the data set, the identifiable data, so that the data set which is out there is non-personal.
Okay.
So this is a remedy. It's a great remedy by the government.
True.
Now, another thing, another issue with data is something called data monopoly. We are really promoting the startup culture, and the government's really promoting entrepreneurship and the startup ecosystem, which is great.
Yeah.
So to protect the startup ecosystem, now what happens is that a lot of big companies, big corporate giants like, say, a Facebook or an Amazon, they have access to a lot more data as compared to a small startup.
And what about like the ads? Like, are they literally, is my phone literally hearing me?
What? Yeah.
Like, I am talking to someone about something and that pops up and I get scared.
Yeah.
For me, that's invasion too.
Yes.
So does that come into the realm of what you're talking about too?
Now these big corporate giants, they have monopoly in the market.
Yeah.
Because they have access to
our data.
Our data, and a lot more data as compared to a small startup.
Yeah.
So, what the government has proposed is that non-personal data should be made available to everybody, so that a startup is at some level on an equal footing with a big company. Of course, you can't prevent business autonomy, but at least at the most basic level, at some level, there is equality.
There's a better playing field.
Yes. So that is to promote. So, so there, of course, there are a lot of issues, but, they are being addressed now, and they are not just issues in India. They are issues all over the world with respect to AI. Everybody is trying to figure out AI.
What is it?
Yeah, what is it? What's happening? There are also IPR issues, like because the software cannot be patented, not just in India, but in anywhere in the world. Yeah. But there are other remedies also, like we have, there is copyright protection. So a code cannot be copied. So there's protection via copyright. And then there's a recent judgment which, which gives a small window of protection to an innovator with respect to patent of his innovation. So, there are things, the government is proactive, and the Niti Aayog has come out with, prospective strategies on AI, where a lot of these issues have been acknowledged and, are being talked about. And then the METI has come out. If you go on the METI website, there are lots of, papers and lots of suggestions that, they are coming out with. So, a lot is being done.
Okay. Yeah. So there's hope.
Yes.
Everything is not grim.
Yes.
Let's not freak out.
Yes. It's a new India.
It's a new India. Since you said new India, amongst the million things that you do and have accomplished, you're also a published author. But your journey about how you went about publishing your books is so interesting, and I'm sure will be very, very inspiring for everybody listening in. Before we talk about that, I just want to like highlight for everybody on the YouTube channel. This is your book, A New India. We'll talk about that in a bit. And this is Miracles Do Happen.
Yes.
This is amazing, Naina. So
Thank you.
let's talk about this. First of all, what inspired you?
I've always been fond of writing since I've been a kid. I've always had a knack for it, especially poetry.
Okay, nice.
I can make anything rhyme.
Wow.
And it only takes me about 30 seconds to 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Literally all my poems are written in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Like,
Wow.
you know.
So you have like this burst of inspiration and boom.
Yes.
It's done.
So my inspiration is my environment. It's my victories, my challenges, my joys, my sufferings. That is my inspiration.
How nice. How lovely. How did that come about? Like, when did you decide that this personal writing that you do, that now you want to share this out in the world?
So, you know, in 2019, I actually started, I'd written a couple of poems, and that's when I decided I want to publish and I want to write a book.
Yeah.
And so I thought it would be so simple, you know, it would be so easy to get a book published. And I thought I'm very talented, and, you know, it would be very simple to be a published author. But life humbled me. Little did I know the struggle that I would have had to go through
to get your book published.
Yes. So I started with only about 15 poems.
Okay.
And to begin with, I thought that was enough. You know, I thought I would, I could easily publish a small book. But when I started approaching publishers, everyone told me that there is no market for poetry. And they were like, firstly, you need at least 100 poems. And secondly, there is
100 poems?
Yeah, minimum. And, and there is no market for poetry in India.
Okay.
So I didn't know what to do. And then, I approached an aunt of mine who is also a publisher. And so I asked her, I took her guidance. I said that, how do I publish? I really want to publish this book, and how do I publish? So she told me that, you start an Instagram page and you start reciting your poetry.
Okay.
Because the fact is, there is no market for poetry in India. So she said, there is a concept called an Insta poet. So you start writing there and you start reciting, and slowly, when people start following you for your words and for, your recitation, that is when it will be easier to publish.
Because you already have a personal brand going.
Yeah, I mean, people know that, people are more, they know that you exist then,
Was there any hesitation from your side to put yourself and your poetry out there?
A lot of hesitation from my side. I actually told her also that, I'm really scared to post my pictures and to, put myself out there. And she told me, be fearless. You are only spreading hope and happiness. That's what you want to do through your words.
Amazing.
And then, the lockdown happened. And when
life has bigger plans.
Yeah. So when the lockdown happened, that is when I realized that everyone around me, obviously the whole world was going through so many challenges. True. So I decided to write about, self-help poetry, very relatable stuff that, that we were all going through. Yeah. And that started picking up. And I started reciting my poetry. That started picking up. My following increased. Simultaneously, I decided to write another book because I was working for Make in India at the time. I decided to write about the schemes of the government of India in poetry form.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
we'll talk about that in depth later.
So, that I think it was the right time. Everything is about timing. So that got published first. After that, I started getting noticed. And by then, my following also increased quite a bit on social media. So, and then I was in talks with my publisher for Miracles Do Happen, which was supposed to be my first book.
But it became your second book.
And, eventually by the time we signed the contract, I realized that I had written more than 200 poems in the
Oh
lockdown.
wow! So you needed
And
100, but now you had surpassed that.
yeah,
You had 2x.
I had more than 200. And
Nice.
so, and then ultimately I realized, 1.5 years hence, I realized that whatever happens, happens for the best.
True.
Had my book got published in the first place, way back in 2019, I wouldn't have an audience to buy the book in the first place.
That resonance for
Yeah.
those kind of poems, I think we have all become way more sensitive post the pandemic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, that was one thing. And, uh, whatever little I have achieved, in the last 2-3 years, I don't think I would have if, I wouldn't have been motivated. If my first book would have been published so easily, I mean, Miracles Do Happen would have been published so easily, I wouldn't have
Maybe
been.
a new India might not have been there.
Yes.
So, poetry and policy. So, in my head, I'm like, whoa, these are two things that don't mesh together. What was your inspiration? Like, what made you think that I'm going to combine these two seemingly very distinct things together and write a book on it?
When I was working for Make in India, I learned a lot about the work that the government was doing and the different schemes of the Prime Minister. Now, I used to work with a lot of external stakeholders on a day to day basis, most of which were very young minds, young entrepreneurs. And I realized that, they are not very aware of the extent to what the government has been doing. And that is when I decided to write a book on the schemes of the government of India, like Make in India, Startup India, Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, Smart Cities Mission, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and the different missions of the government of India, of the Prime Minister, in my own unique form of poetry, to elucidate across different age groups as to how we are moving to achieve a new India.
And I guess it's easier, like the way you, like now, I'm like, maybe I don't want to read about policies in detail on a government website.
Yeah.
But maybe the minute you say poetry, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is going to be easier to read. So, Naina, we have your book, New India, in the studio. Thank you for, by the way, signing this for me. So, if you could, for everybody looking at the video, if you could just read a few lines from one of your favorite schemes.
So, because we are talking about Because She Can,
yes,
one of my favorite schemes of the Prime Minister is Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao.
Yeah.
And because it talks about uplifting the girl child, giving her opportunities because she can. And so that she can change society and really transform, the country.
Lovely.
Let us celebrate the birth of the girl child. Let us ensure that the girl child is full of smiles. Let us punish all those who do not abide by this initiative of protecting the girl child and helping her survive. Let us punish all those who do not take pride in promoting the education of the girl child. Let us ensure that justice to the girl child is never denied with the help of the Preconception and Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act, which to prevent female foeticide has had a huge impact in preventing prenatal sex determination and securing the birth of the girl child of the nation. Let us encourage more father-daughter selfies. Let us help our Honorable Prime Minister to feel at ease in this mission to eradicate gender-biased sex selection and to prevent afterbirth girl-child discrimination. For the girl child, we most definitely must empower, for we must warrant Beta Beti Ek Sama.
Wow. I'm so inspired. And the thought I had, I was like, this needs to be in schools.
Yeah.
Because you're so in very simple words, explained schemes that maybe children don't know about. Beautiful, Naina. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Smriti Irani ji launched your book, A New India.
Yes.
I mean, she's such a dynamic icon for all of us, for all the women here.
Absolutely.
I mean, that must have been like an aha moment for you. I can only imagine.
Yes. So when you spoke of career highlights, that is one of my career highlights.
Of course. So I wanted to ask you, what was that experience like?
It was absolutely unforgettable and extremely memorable.
Yeah.
She is so warm, so humble,
Yeah.
so kind, and I got to learn a lot from her.
Yeah.
I just feel very fortunate and grateful that Smriti Irani ji launched my book, my first ever book.
Amazing. So, Smriti Irani ji launched your first book, A New India, and then Tahira Kashyap launched your second book.
Yes.
Miracles Do Happen. And after that, you went from being a reluctant content creator to having a plethora of followers on social media and also tons of interviews on all leading media channels. My question to you is, it's very easy to get sucked into this external paraphernalia, but how did you manage to keep yourself grounded while all of this was happening?
Life has humbled me enough and taught me enough that how fast you go up, you can fall down even faster.
Yeah.
So it's
Very
best
well
to
said.
stay grounded,
Huh.
and it's best to stay humble. And I also believe that no matter what you do, it's never enough.
Yeah.
You have to keep, upgrading yourself. There's so much more that one can
You
do.
can do.
There's so much value that one can create in society. There's so much to do in life. When you achieve a goal, it just gets replaced by a bigger goal. So I think that's what it's about. And no matter what you do in life, it's never enough.
Very well said. Very inspiring. On that note, again, you're at a juncture in life where you're going to take another super big leap, both professionally and personally.
Yes.
So you're getting married.
Yes.
In less than a month.
Yes.
So thank you so much, first of all, for taking out the time for doing this, and congratulations to the both of you.
Much.
And you're moving cities. You're moving to Bangalore.
Yes.
Which isn't as easy as it sounds. You're literally packing your entire life,
yes,
your career here, and you also are on the professional front taking an entrepreneurial leap.
Yes.
And working with your fiance.
Yes.
On his tech startup.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
I'm excited, and it's a great opportunity to grow. Yeah. It's a great opportunity to learn yet another new skill set. And I'm really excited about joining Vismo. Okay. It's an office automation system that solves problems that offices face, more so post-COVID. Be it visitor management, be it a hot desk system, be it booking of meeting rooms. Yeah. So I'm really excited, to join and start working on that, and to understand more about it in depth, and to grow.
From courthouses to Invest India rooms to talking with startups, you've been in a lot of rooms where a lot of high stake decisions need to be made, and rooms filled essentially mostly with men. And now you're entering into tech, which again is male dominated. Yeah. So, is there any prejudice you felt as a woman?
I think I've been really lucky and fortunate that I've always worked in places where I've been respected as a woman. Amazing. And whether it was with the work when I was way back in 2014, I was working with a senior advocate, then working with Luthra and Luthra law offices, and then Invest India. I think I've been very fortunate that I've always worked in places where my opinion has been heard and it's been valued, and I have been respected. I think, from my personal experience, it's been great. And that's all I can say.
Amazing. Since you're a content creator, what better way than getting to know you through your Instagram? So, this is a little fun section we call Toast the Post. Okay. On the podcast. Okay. I'm going to show you a few pictures from your Instagram, and you just have to tell me what was happening there. Okay. This is the first one.
Okay. This is Tahira launching my book, Miracles Do Happen. It was honestly a great experience meeting her. Somebody as inspiring as her, who herself has gone through so many challenges
Yeah.
and has overcome them so beautifully and is living such a victorious life. Touch wood,
Yeah.
and that's what I aim to do in my life as well.
Her life truly exemplifies miracles do happen.
Yes.
This is the second one. Your story,
Yeah.
100 emerging women leaders.
Yeah.
So, what were you feeling when this came out?
This was a surprise. And, when they interviewed me,
Yeah.
I was really happy. And, it was, again, one of my career highlights to be featured as one of the 100 emerging women leaders.
What is this?
This is my
what
bridal
was happening
shower.
in this picture?
This is my bridal shower.
So cute. Before we let you go, we have another really fun segment planned for you. The segment is Rapid Fire with Neha. So,
Oh God, I'm nervous now.
Don't be. Handing it over to Neha for a super fun rapid fire round.
Hi, Naina.
Hi.
A lawyer, an author, and a poet. Are you ready to be grilled?
Yes.
Out of the three, which profession would you choose for your livelihood?
Being a lawyer.
Being a lawyer. Oh, that was quick. Describe yourself in a word.
Compassionate.
One thing that you are scared or worried about.
I don't think there's anything I fear.
Oh, wow. Fearless woman.
Attempt to be.
Oh, yeah. That's great. One thing you want to change in yourself.
Lots of things, not one thing.
Okay.
As in when I keep gaining awareness about things, I like to work on myself and, because I believe you can only change yourself from within. You can't
True.
change. When you change, your environment changes.
One thing that you cherish about yourself.
Everything. I love myself.
Lovely. If you had magical power for 60 seconds, what would you have done?
I would transport myself to Bangalore to be with my fiance.
In 60 seconds, huh?
Yeah.
Flat on. One person you want to call from the past and why?
I don't look back. I don't read my book backwards.
I read this and this actually made an impact on me. And this is by Naina Pachnanda. Some days she could move mountains. Other days she would sit by the bridges and fountains. Some days she could give you everything she had to give. Other days she felt outlived. Some days she could be absolutely just and fair. Other days she lived in doubt and despair. Some days she would bend over and pick up the pieces. Other days she accepted life's arbitrary creases. It is so beautiful.
Thank
I mean,
you.
it actually relates to what because
Yes.
she can.
It defines
Lovely.
a woman.
Lovely.
Thank you, Naina. We've had such a fun time with you. So inspiring. And you really, I'm sure everybody tuning in is going to be so inspired by your never say never spirit. Always pushing yourself to achieve more and more. You truly are an icon for us. And before we let you go, because this is the Because She Can, what does the term hashtag Because She Can mean for you?
Because she can do anything. What can a woman not do? Women are known to be multitaskers.
True. So, thank you, Naina. And as a token of our gratitude, we have a memento for you. So, if we can just present it to you.
Thank you so much. 1 second. Cut. Atmanirbhar Bharat. This is too much pressure on me.
कट कर देंगे वो हम कट कर देंगे ये कट हो जाएगा doesn't matter.
Yeah.
नहीं ये मैं वापस बोल रही हूँ I've shut my eyes for some reason. Listen, I have done Naina's podcast and part 2 will be Naina's bloopers.